What's going on YouTube? I'm going to make a quick deck list for Runelich. I just posted a few videos throughout the last week of some Runelich gameplay. I've got a whole bunch more that I can post if you guys are interested in that. But this is a quick deck list. I've been working on the ratios, what to run, because in the current format, certain things are not very good. Like, I'm questioning if I should run Dimension Barrier, because you have decks like Fire King, Rescue Ace that are very powerful that don't really need the extra deck. So this could be swapped out for another trap. Like let's say, for example, Ice Dragon's Prison is very powerful right now. So this is all up for change depending on the format. Now I'll just go through it quick, and if you want more explanations on some of my picks, I will go into them later. Just leave a comment, like, subscribe. I'll be posting a lot more videos like this. Yeah, let's get into it. All right, so it's Runick, Eldlich, so we have to have some Runick cards. 2 Runick Fountains, because, I mean, that's just the standard. 3 Runick Tips, that is your best Runick card. It can search every other Runick besides Runick Fountain. Flashing Fire, you're going to want 3 of those, because it's probably my second, it's probably the third best. Probably the third best Runick card right now, because I've been killing it with Runick Destruction. Runick Destruction has been insane. A lot of decks use field spells right now. A lot of decks use continuous spells like Fire King, and on top of destroying those continuous spells and field spells so they can't get their effects, you banish 4, which is the most you can banish out of any Runick card, except for potentially Smiting Storm. All right, 2 Runick Freezing Curses, and we only run 2. You could run 3, but I only run 2 because Skill Drain is in the deck, and it's completely useless when Skill Drain's on the field because you cannot negate a monster whose effects are already negated. So that's why I'm running it at 2. 3 Runick Slumber. A lot of people might think this is one of your worst Runick spells, but it is almost always live, which is why it's so good. Yeah, I mean, basically it doesn't do that much, but it gives you opportunity to dig into your deck some more with Runick Fountain. Use all your other spells, target one of your monsters, or even target one of your opponent's monsters with Runick Slumber, shuffle 3, draw 3. Runick Smiting Storm can banish up to like 10 cards if you're really lucky, and it's live quite often. The problem is with Runick Smiting Storm, Runick Dispelling. Runick Dispelling can be very good, but it requires them to draw, and I want as many Runick spells as I can get. I want to have at least around 20, because if you don't have at least 2 Runick cards in your starting hand, your Runick engine is essentially dead. If you only have 1, it's pretty much useless. And I don't want to say useless, because these cards do something on their own, but you don't keep your draw engine going, which is very important in this deck. Runick Dispelling, it's also a very impactful card if they draw. There's a lot of decks out there right now that are drawing all the time, or adding cards to their hands, like Fire Kings, yada yada, and then you can just rip a card from their hand, banish 2 on top of that. So that is very useful, and obviously all these cards can also summon out your extra deck monsters, so at least 1 is always live. Unless you have a Runick monster in your extra monster zone, then it doesn't work. I run 1 Runick Allure. Some might cut this, and I am considering it, but it really depends on what engine you want to rely on more. If you want to rely on Runick a little bit more than the Eldlich engine, you're going to want this. Moonin can grab it at any point. I don't know how many times I had all the Runick cards in my hand that I could possibly want. So instead of summoning Hugin, I summon Moonin, grab a lure, and then that just steamrolls the opponent's deck. So it's take it or leave it. It's up to your preference. If you want to rely more on the Runick engine, Allure is the way to go. Pot of Extrav and Pot of Duality. Dig into the deck, draw 2, look for 3, look through 3, dig into your deck. Can't special summon after that, which is unfortunate. Can't special summon before or after that, which is unfortunate. And this banishes, you probably just want to do 6. which is why I run 3 Moonin. You don't want to lose all your Moonins. This is a flex spot, 2 Lord of the Heavenly Prisons. It's just really good. It really is good. It can protect your back row. It's a 3k body, and when summoned, it can set any one of these spells or traps. So if you need a Runick tip, set Runick tip. If you need to get your Eldlich engine going, set Sanguine. I mean, you can set any of these cards. It's just a perfect searcher, and it's so easy to get off with all your traps, all your spells you run, and it protects your stuff. Like, it's just a really good card. Now, I would probably side it out if you're going second. It's not very good going second, but going first, it's great. 2 Eldlich. Just in case one of yours gets banished, we're still worrying about that. Bystials are still kind of in the format. And honestly, I just don't trust 1. I was playing it with 1 and it was working. And if you want to, you can cut to 1 if you think you can keep it alive. If you play conservatively, you can play with 1 Eldlich, as long as you always have like a Sanguine or some way of getting him out of the grave if somebody tries to call by him. So that's up to you. Cursed Eldland. A lot of people think this is a trash card, and to an extent it is, but I'm running it because it kind of works at breaking. It kind of helps with breaking boards. It can search you an Eldlich to discard anything, target to remove a monster without destroying it, which is very huge in the format. It was big with Unchained, now it's with Fire King. You want to get cards off the field without destroying them. It can also search any one of your Golden Land spells or trap. Sorry, I keep saying spells. We don't even run any spells for Eldlich in this besides Cursed Eldland, so it only searches your Golden Land traps. And yeah, I'm only running 2 of each, so it's actually kind of a smaller Eldlich engine. So it's nice to have this so you can grab those if you need them. If you want, you could remove this and maybe the Lords and run a full Eldlich package if you don't want to worry about that. But I just feel like this is a pretty good going second card, and it's not bad going first either. It gets you a little bit of card advantage and gets your Eldlich engine going if you have no other options. 3 Sanguine, best Eldlich card. 2 Hawk. I would say in the current format, it's actually really good because you can remove Rescue Ace monsters. You can remove Fire King monsters like Runick's in the grave, so it can't come back. So Aguero is very good. Conquistador, commonly known as the better of the 2, is actually not very good this format. It is good because it can destroy field spells and continuous traps, but against Fire King, it sets off like all of their effects. So it's kind of, that's why I cut it to 2 instead of 3. Usually I'd run 3, but this format's kind of wonky. 3 Skill Drain. Like what else is there to say about Skill Drain? Like, if this is on the field, not many decks can play through it. 2-dimensional barrier. This is another flex spot. Depends on your locals, your scene. If there are a lot of Fire King players, don't play this. Play something else. Play something that doesn't destroy, like for removal, like Ice Dragon's Prison. That would absolutely annihilate Fire King. So that's just, this is more of a flex spot than anything. It's just a good trap spot. Same thing for Solemn Strike. It's just, it can be used multiple times a turn. It can completely stop like climbing to access code. Like it just is a no card. No, you can't do that. It also helps you set up, like if you're going second, you can set Skill Drain, set Solemn Strike, and then when they try and negate your Skill Drain, Solemn Strike ends the chain, and that's done. All right, extra deck, we'll go through it quick. 3 Moonin, 2 Hugin, 2 Gary, and 1 Sleipnir. I run so many just because extra. I don't want to lose all of my targets for my Runick spells. 2 Link Spiders. You could also run whatever the Crusadia card is. I forget what its name is. And this is so we can get our Eldlich traps off the field into the grave for their effects in the grave, and so you can go into SP Little Knight and get her burst effect, her banish effect when she hits the field. Run 2 SP Little Knights. You don't need to, like, if we're talking real life, you don't need to run this card. It is a very good card. It really is. Probably shouldn't have been printed, but like, you can run whatever. It's not that big of a deal. I run 1 Gustav and 1 Lieb. just because I have 4 level 10s, and these come up actually more than you might think. And then 1 Typhon Sky Crisis basically just shuts off the opponent's board if they have, you know, big monsters, so that's always nice to have. As for the side deck, I have 2 sphere modes. This could be lava golems, this could be kaijus, whatever you want, but sphere modes are the most impactful when it comes to removing monsters. Does not destroy, and, you know, Rescue Ace, Fire King, all these big meta decks right now set up quite a few monsters. Manadium, whatever it may be. They set a lot of monsters, a lot of negates, so that's a good card to have. Droll Knockbird absolutely destroys all these decks because they all search constantly to Manadium. You know, you're talking Manadium, Rescue Ace, and Fire King all search a shit ton. Like, that's just the way it is. Evenly matched. Outside of Manadium, not that many negates right now in the format, so this is actually really, really good. Ice Dragon's Prison is just really good right now in the format because there's just a ton of fire decks, and obviously darks are very popular, so it's just a really good removal option that doesn't destroy and banishes 2 monsters. So 2 Floodgates. I mean, if you play Eldlich, you know what these do. Gozen, Rivalry. I wouldn't necessarily say they're very good in the format right now, but if you come across decks that are very diverse, let's say, different attribute, different types, I would run them. I would side them in. Solemn Judgments, just for protection of your back row if you're really worried about going first. Let's say you win the first game, you lose the second, and then you choose to go first in the third game. You're probably going to want to side these in along, you know, you got to have your lords as well and whatever else to just protect yourself. And these last 2, I didn't really know what to do. I've noticed a bad matchup with both Labyrinth and Rescue Ace. Labyrinth because their field spell destroys our field spell, and they're also an advantage engine, which is just better than Eldlich. Like, let's be honest, I played Labyrinth, I play Eldlich. Labyrinth is a better engine. It just is. So we want to just remove their stuff, and these 2 are probably the most impactful. I know you could Cosmic, you could Twin Twisters because they're quick plays. They just don't, you know, you're only hitting 1 or 2 instead of potentially a whole back row. And then Lightning Storm can obviously remove monsters as well. I don't know. These are 2 more flex spots. If your scene doesn't have much back row and no Labyrinth, you probably don't need these. But yeah, this is my current deck list I've been running. Having quite a bit of success with it. Would I say it's the best deck in the format? No, not even close. I just like Eldlich, and Runick Eldlich seems to be a pretty decent option just to keep it competitive. I'm going to try it Horus Eldlich pretty soon. I'll probably have a video up for that. I don't know, hopefully within a month. I'm hoping to keep my video upload schedule every, I don't know, a couple days. So I will have those out as soon as I can. And yeah, I mean, I just want to say, now that I went through all this, I am not a professional player. I'm not a Joshua Smith. I'm not a Jesse Cotton. I'm like just good at the game. But definitely not amazing. So if you see something wrong with this deck list, leave comments for me. I would love to hear them. I'd love to see what you suggest. Like, for example, Dimensional Barrier. What should I run here? What do you guys think I should run here? Do you think the Eldlich engine is too much, too little? Should I run more Runick? Should I pull away from the Eldlich engine a little bit? Just let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe if you like the video and the deck list. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.